Now, how many times have you seen a Corvette pass by or heard of that legendary LS power and wondered, damn, I've always wanted to have one of those. But with C5 Corvette prices barely falling under $12,000, that dream seems out of reach for most of us. Well, what if I told you that there's actually a bunch of cars that come with the old LT1 Corvette engines and even some of the newer LS Corvette engines for under $10,000? Well, without further ado, guys, here are 5 cars that came stock from factory with Corvette engines. Let's get right into it. And we're going to start this list with one of my personal favorites, and that's the 1994 to 1996 Chevrolet Impala SS. Now, I personally had one in all black, which is the only way you should have an Impala. Now, the Impala is a modern day classic. It has that mid-90s muscle sedan look that leaves a bad taste in your mouth, but it truly is one of Chevy's greatest modern muscle cars to date. Now, this is an interesting car because it had a 260 horsepower LT1 V8 with sequential port fuel injection and, unfortunately, a 4-speed automatic transmission. Yes, a 4-speed automatic transmission. It's best compared to a loving grandfather who's old-fashioned and resentful, but he's still a loyal man once you get past the prickly prospect of dealing with him. Now, you could actually find yourself a decent conditioned Chevy Impala SS for anywhere between $5,000 and $7,000.
So this is a stock GM LT1 block. Is it 2-bolt or a 4-bolt?
It's a 4-bolt block that we converted. It is a stock block.
Now let's talk about the Buick Roadmaster, specifically from 1994 to 1996. Now, this is actually one of Chevy's best kept hidden secrets. Let me tell you why. Because while the Impala SS is up there in prices from anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000, what if I were to tell you that you could almost buy yourself an exact clone of the Impala SS in the Buick Roadmaster from anywhere between $2,000 to $2,500? Now, the Buick Roadmaster, preferred car of your grandfather and your family trying to recreate the 1950s, there's nothing particularly special about it, aside from the fact that it has room for an entire Florida retirement community and shares an engine with a Corvette. Now, once you take a glance at the Buick Roadmaster going down the road, it looks almost exactly like an Impala SS, and that's because it's pretty much is an Impala SS, except it's quote-unquote a little bit more luxurious. However, it does weigh 4,500 pounds. But with that being said, the 5.7 liter 260 horsepower engine is nothing short of badass. And now we're going to make our way to the Pontiac GTO. That's right, kids. There used to be a car brand called Pontiac not so long ago, but unfortunately it was killed off. Now, the 2004 GTO has the 5.7 liter LS1 V8, and the 2005 and 2006 GTO has the 6.0 liter LS2 V8. Now, a little bit of background here. In 2004, the Pontiac GTO was relaunched in the US market in the form of a rebadged 3rd generation Holden Monaro. That's right, that's straight from Australia, mates. Now, the LS1 version with a 5.7 liter V8 produced 350 horsepower, but the LS2 version with the 6.0 liter produced 400 horsepower. Now, if you're a little bit under budget and you want to get yourself into an LS1 powered Pontiac GTO, well, I highly suggest you go for the 5.7 liter one, which can be found from anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000. Now let's take some time to talk about the Chevrolet Camaro, specifically the 4th generation one, which was produced from 1993 all the way up to 2002. Even more specifically, let's talk about the Z28 Camaro. Now the earlier Z28 versions featured the 5.7 liter LT1 V8 engine, also pushrod with 275 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque that had been introduced in the Corvette 1 year earlier. But now let's actually skip ahead to 2001. Let's talk about those catfish Camaros. Now respectively, they did receive a bump in horsepower from the Z28 to the Camaro SS. Both models received the intake manifold from the LS6, the engine used in the 5th generation Corvette Z06 from 2001 to 2004. That, combined with a couple more things tuned here and there, bumped up the horsepower on the Z28 to 310, and on the SS it was bumped up to 325. Now, just like every car on this list, you can find a decently used Camaro Z28 or even an SS for under $10,000. But if you want to stick with the earlier versions with a 275 horsepower LT1, then you can easily find those between $3,000 to $5,000. And of course, I saved the best for last. And of course, I'm talking about the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am WS6. Now, in the case of Chevy, this is actually one of the cars that I'm pretty sure the guys are on their knees praising the Lord that Pontiac got canned for. And I'll explain to you guys in just a minute why I just said that. Now, from 1993 to 1997, the sole engine for the Formula and the Trans Am was a 5.7 LT1 V8, essentially identical to the LT1 in the C4 Corvette, except for more flow restrictive intake and exhaust systems. Now fast forward from 1998 to 2002, and that's where we got the Chevy boys shaking in their boots. That's because the Formula and Trans Am again received a close derivative of the Corvette's 5.7 liter V8, which was the LS1 from the C5 Corvette. Now, the earlier versions of the Firebird and Trans Am were produced anywhere between 275 and 300 horsepower, but the later models actually produce anywhere from 310 to 325. Now, believe it or not, those numbers were actually slightly underplayed because the Trans Am was actually producing as much horsepower as a C5 Corvette at the time. However, it was way more cheaper compared to a Corvette, and people started catching on. And sure enough, the Corvette sales started dropping and the Trans Am sales started going up. Now, a decently shaped Trans Am WS6 can go anywhere from $7,000 all the way up to $10,000. And that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a thing or two. And hell, let me know in the comment section down below if I inspired you guys to actually go out and try to get yourself one of the cars featured in today's video. Now, don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. And don't forget to leave a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Share it with your fellow Chevy friends. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Take it easy.